Okay, so I want to clarify something right away. I like Dovewing. I think Dovewing is a good character, and I actually think she's one of the most consistently written characters in Warriors. Another thing I want to clarify, liking a character doesn't mean I condone their actions or think that they're perfect. Dovewing probably isn't even someone I would like if they were a real person. She's rather self-righteous and narrow-minded, as well as being shallow, stubborn, and if we're being honest, not that bright. And all of those traits are definitely not very attractive in my book, but despite all of that, I still like Dovewing as a character. Her self-conscious nature and low self-esteem, despite her being the Warrior's equivalent of a superhero, is relatable and charming. Her determination in the face of impossible situations is admirable. If Dovewing thinks something needs to be done, she'll do it, with or without anyone's help. Although most of the time these ideas are stupid and this all plays into her stubbornness, I can't help but root the little idiot onward. So this is not a video about how Dovewing is awful, a Mary Sue, or any other hyperbole you want to throw at her. This is about how Dovewing was written and how I feel like the Urns did her character a disservice in Omen of the Stars. If you don't like Dovewing, that's fine, that's your opinion, but honestly, I don't care to hear about it. Everyone has had over 10 years to bitch about this character, and I'm going to take some time and talk about how she got the short end of the stick, and we should really be a little bit more upset about that. First things first, writing Dovewing in as the third cat was going to be a hard sell and upset fans no matter what, so I still commend the Urns for taking that risk in the first place. I won't say that it paid off especially well, but a risk is a risk, and replacing Hollyleaf was a big one. This video was originally going to be about how Hollyleaf was the obvious better fit for a superhero narrative and how Dovewing was disappointing in comparison. But then I realized, wait, I've already written that video, and doubly wait. Dovewing is a good follow-up to Hollyleaf, and I'm tired of everyone hating on her, so why should I contribute to that? We've all heard it said that the main reason Dovewing became the third cat was because the hunters couldn't think of a power for Hollyleaf. And honestly, that whole subject could be a video on its own, but given the quick release schedule that Warriors was on and how it seems that these books were more or less written on the fly, I can't complain too much about what we got. The twist with Hollyleaf and the reveal of Dovewing is one of Warriors' most memorable moments, and even if it feels sort of hollow in hindsight, it is what it is, and it's a twist that I still think is really good, just maybe a little too drawn out and then too underexplored. So you might be thinking, well, gee Simmy, you've sure spent a lot of this video about why you don't like Dovewing, talking about why you like Dovewing. Are you gonna get to the point anytime soon, or? Okay, here's the thing. I hate Dovewing's character arc. To be more specific, I hate the fact that Dovewing basically has no character arc. She's introduced, she fills the third cat in the prophecy role, she has a spat or two with a few characters, and that's pretty much it. Most, if not all, of Dovewing's character growth has to be inferred by the audience, and none of that growth pays off in a satisfying way by the end of the series.
But wait!
I hear Moon Kitty cry.
Dovewing's silence is the true end to Omen of the Stars, and Dovewing gets a good character arc there.
She does. She absolutely does. And if you haven't read Dovewing's Silence, you should, because it's pretty good. But that doesn't change the fact that the Urns didn't write a cohesive arc for Dovewing within the 6 books of Omen of the Stars. Dovewing has 42 chapters over the course of that arc, tied with Jayfeather for the most chapters, and I really only felt like I started to understand her character when I stepped back and took some time to reflect on her actions. To give Vision of Shadows, Dovewing Silence, and Tigerheart Shadow some credit, those books do a much better job of showing what kind of character Dovewing is. They push Dovewing to grow, and the risks seem so much higher for her personally in those books. She has a direct problem to face. The problems Dovewing faces in Omen of the Stars are either really vague or something entirely out of her control. She's mostly only reacting to things other characters are doing and takes direct action in the story sparingly. Even the most compelling aspect of her story, her relationship with her sister Ivypool, is something that Dovewing doesn't have any agency in. Ivypool is the one who needs to grow and get over her jealousy, and there's not much Dovewing can do to fix their relationship besides bending over backwards to make Ivypool happy. The prophecy is another main conflict that Dovewing has no agency in. She's one of the three, but her actions throughout the books make little to no effect on defeating the bad guys. Her superpowers never play a role in the final battle or even leading up to it. And out of the three of them, Dovewing is easily the least bothered by the prophecy. Like, she thinks about it, sometimes. But her conclusion often is, well, there's not much I can do about that now, so I guess that's for future Dovewing to worry about. Which is both an aggravating and yet surprisingly relieving conclusion to come to, since Jayfeather and Lionblaze's chapters have them talking in circles about the prophecy every other time they speak to each other. The only storyline Dovewing really does have any agency in is her relationship with Tigerheart, and oh boy, everyone's favorite part of the books were when Dovewing and Tigerheart were blasting "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" out in the woods. But okay, I'm actually going to defend the Tigerheart x Dovewing romance here for a hot second, and please just hear me out. One of Dovewing's first biggest character moments, a moment where she actually takes agency in the story for the first time, is when Dovewing, still an apprentice, sneaks into WindClan territory to see Sage Whisker after hearing she got hurt by a dog. This is a really stupid idea, and the books acknowledge this. It's obviously a really dumb plan of Dovewing's. How she even got Ivypool to sneak into WindClan with her is anyone's guess. But this does actually say a lot about Dovewing and why her future romance with Tigerheart makes some sense and just kind of works. From Dovewing's perspective anyway. Dovewing can literally hear everything going on in the clans if she wants to. After journeying to the beaver dam with the other clan cats, Dovewing never really had to cut ties with those that traveled with her. And she doesn't. The books mention how Dovewing sort of checks in on them with her powers, and that's how she hears about Sage Whisker's injury. I wish the books would have done more to emphasize this connection Dovewing must have to the other clans because of this. It makes sense why it bothers her so much. She even tries talking to Lionblaze about it, but obviously he isn't any help because...
Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
It's easy to write Dovewing's behavior off as pretentious ThunderClan double standards, but out of all the characters to do this sort of thing, Dovewing actually has a legitimate reason for it. She's not trying to be nosy. She can hear and see others in danger, and yet is told that the right and good thing to do is to ignore it. It's no wonder why Dovewing is so opposed to spying on the other clans later on in the series, or why she feels a general resentment to being superpowered in the first place. There's some serious issues that the authors could have tackled here that are just completely ignored in order not to shake up the status quo. This takes us back to Tigerheart, however. Dovewing's reward for being a literal superhero and trying to discreetly check in on a wounded friend is to be punished and yelled at. So when Tigerheart shows up with his big stupid face saying that he misses the others too, Dovewing finally gets some validation. Look at this! A relationship building off shared life experiences and opinions! Amazing! And yeah, the relationship does take a turn straight to Boring Town in the middle of forced heterosexual relationships boulevard, but at least it started off on the right foot. What I'm trying to get at here is that Dovewing's character growth should have centered around this conflict of being able to hear and see danger that she isn't allowed to take care of. That's a pretty heavy moral dilemma for anyone to face, let alone someone in Dovewing's position where her peers are much older than her and don't exactly give great life advice. Dovewing also has to deal with the loneliness that this power brings. For anyone who has sat in their room all day watching movies or videos without talking to any friends, you'll know that that doesn't quite really replace genuine human interaction, and that's exactly the kind of experience Dovewing faces every single day. On top of all that, the constant pressure Dovewing's mentors push onto her to ignore her powers or to use them for questionably dubious reasons leaves Dovewing seeking for validation that she unfortunately has to go outside of her clan to get. There's just a lot that could have been explored with Dovewing's character, and I don't even feel like I'm scratching the surface of it. The sad thing, though, is that since Dovewing's powers got taken away, we're never going to explore any of these ideas in the books. To be fair, though, Taking those powers away is kind of what made me sort of think of this whole video in the first place. And it's undoubtedly made Dovewing a more nuanced character since then. Or at least the writing for her has become more interesting since, and even led to some genuinely heart-wrenching moments like when she's down in the tunnels trying to get her hearing back or lugging Tigerheart's dead weight back to ShadowClan territory. Point is, I love Wing Dovewing. I just regret that we didn't see her explored to her fullest. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks to Moon Kitty for recording that line for me. A video about Dovewing wouldn't be complete without the Dovewing Queen. If you liked this video, I've got plenty more Simmy Speaks about warrior cats, as well as a video series where my spouse and I watch and review animated films, and for even more content, check out his channel for some fun Let's Plays. Have a great day and keep being awesome.